Women in Focus, a podcast by British Naturism. Hi, and welcome to Women in Focus, a podcast brought to you by British Naturism. I'm your host, Helen Berryman, and today we bring you episode 31. By the time this goes out, I will be sunning myself in Crete at Vitramatis for the third ladies only clothing optional holiday. I will be joined by a few of our former guests. So Steph Durbin will be there and Sarah Christensen will be there too. I'll bring you more news of our holiday next month when we return. There's plenty of other events lined up for June, July, August. It's all kicking off here in the UK. There's Leonardsley Naked Heart Walk. Details of that will be on the website. We've got Everybody Festival. Whatever you can think of, if you have a look on the website, I'm sure you'll find an event that will suit you too. Of course, we have Nude Fest coming up in July. Tickets still available, but you'll need to be quick. It's got a stellar lineup this year, from Doctor and the Medics to Chuckle Brother DJing. The full lineup is on the website, so do check it out. Nude Fest this year is Wednesday the 8th of July, packing up on the 12th, so have a look. Today's guest has just kind of appeared from nowhere, really. Like, all of a sudden, she's all over the socials and is a big ball of energy. So I had to find out who she was, what she was all about. So please welcome my next guest, Amy, or Bare Bum Boaty, or Captain Amy. Welcome, Amy. Let's welcome Amy. Welcome, Amy.
Hello.
Or Bare Bum Boaty. What do we call you?
You can call me Amy, Captain Amy, Bare Bum Boaty, whatever you like, really. I do like all of them. So, yeah, however you feel.
Okay. So, Amy, where have you come from? You've just burst onto Instagram, and I want to know all about you, where you've come from, what's inspired you. Tell me everything.
Well, I have been around. I've been doing lots of other things, and the bursting into naturism happened because I had a moment about 35 days ago.
Wow.
Currently, where I was on my boat feeling very playful. I'm a very playful person. I've done a lot of clown training, improv. I'm a hula hoop artist. So play and being silly is really at my core. And there's a fellow boater, canal boater, who set up a Calendar Girls calendar for boaters. Well, it would have been the start of this year. It got released. And I just seen some posts on it. I thought, I love that. That's so fun. I'm going to take a couple and send them to my friends. And I sent one with some apples and a plant and various things, implied nude covering myself. And I sent them to this really good friend of mine, and she said, "These are hilarious." And she sent some back. And then I said, I love this. I love that it's like my enthusiasm has just inspired her to get creative. And then I said, I wonder, maybe I start an Instagram of implied nudes. That would be fun. And she said, yes, do it. And so I did. I was really nervous to do that, and also even at that point wanted to make sure it's on the side of joy and playfulness and not sexualization.
Right.
It's really important to me, not because I think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. It's just how I want to come across. It's about being free and in my element and in my joy, rather than trying to entice anybody. So so that happened. I started my account, and then I realized, oh wow, there's all of this naturist world. And I wouldn't have called myself a naturist before, just because I didn't really know about it. But whenever I've been in spaces where nudity is welcomed, social nudity is welcomed, in a sauna at a festival where that's allowed, I'm always naked. Like, I'll go, oh yay, and take my clothes off and enjoy that. And so it's been random, it's randomly occurred by me following my joy. I think it's the easiest way to say it.
That's lovely. And how have you found it in the 35 days? What sort of response have you had online?
Well, what I'm loving is that the majority of people in my comments are definitely naturists, so they get it.
Yeah.
And they're very, very supportive, and it's opening up a lot of dialogue. I get a lot of DMs saying, you've inspired me to be more naked. I mean, I've inspired myself to be more naked, and it has unlocked something in me more that's made me question clothing. And, you know, when I'm warm, like right now I'm next to a fire and it's like, it feels amazing, and it feels even more amazing to be naked. So yeah, the response has been really lovely. I've had the odd, although I could count on one hand, let's say messages that I don't want to be receiving, but I'm very resourceful as a person, and so it doesn't affect me. I just go, oh, that's not for me, and then I block them.
Do you block instantly, or you get a vibe, don't you?
They are sharing. So I've had people share just their nakedness, and you can see it's their joy and their pleasure.
Yeah.
And they're not aroused sexually. And then there's been a few where, they're getting off on the showing of their genitals, basically. And it's made me go, yeah, well, that's not what I'm interested in seeing.
Right. So, it happens, unfortunately.
And it's defeating the object. But yeah, it's not anything that a quick blocking. And to be honest, that's also an intuitive thing. Sometimes if I had the energy and capacity, I might communicate a little bit more and say, hey, this isn't what this is. However, for the most part, I don't have capacity or energy to do that. And I'd rather just remove that from my space.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's in the DMs, it's secretive, and I'd rather people are just in the public space. That's really important as well. I don't really like DMs unless it's very intentional and kind-hearted.
Yeah. I found the same actually about 5 years ago when I first started becoming public. Yes. the kind of messages you get, you do quickly get a vibe. And at first I was sort of engaging, like not knowing any different really, trying to be kind and helpful. And like I soon learned, no, you can't.
No, and it's your energy, and it's understandable that there is confusion. We do live in an extremely sexualized society. So I think when somebody has an overtly sexualized mind, or I like to say a pornified mind, then when you're seeing nakedness, it's easy to assume that that's what it is. And yeah, I like to do my very best to extend as much compassion as possible rather than judging people for it. And at the same time, I get to be discerning and get to say, no, thanks, and have boundaries as well.
Yes, boundaries are important.
Yeah, fundamental.
Is Instagram the only platform you're on at the moment, or are there more?
It is at the moment, yeah. And I'm looking, I don't know anything about Blue Sky, but some other people, do you know Our Naturist Life?
Yeah.
They have this amazing blog, and they were telling me that Blue Sky is really good.
We're on Blue Sky.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's all right.
What do you like about it?
I like that you can post nudes and it's not sexualized. So there's different categories, and Blue Sky let you do it as a sort of educational vibe rather than a sexual vibe. Whereas Twitter or X would just spin it along with the pornography side of things. So I like that difference. I don't like Twitter anymore. I've come off of, well, I'm on it, but I've locked it and everything else.
Oh, well, yeah, that's good to hear.
You still get people on there that are going to try with the inappropriateness.
Right,
but,
yeah.
Not so bad, maybe.
Yeah. I would love to share. There was a moment I had, I had a young man message me. I didn't realize he was 18 until a little bit later. He was asking me questions about being a naturist, and I chatted a little bit, and then he messaged me maybe a week later and said, I've been really thinking and I'd like to start an IG account like yours doing implied nude. And can you give me any advice about your setup and tech and things like that? And I responded back, something in me, like my gut tightened and I had a contracted, uncomfortable feeling. And I was thinking, oh, that feels really strange. I wonder what that's about. It's because you're 18. And of course you could do that. But there's something about like me. If I was 18, I was a completely different person. And the fact that I have the experience I have, the emotional awareness that I have, the knowing I can deal with the kind of stuff that might come my way. I'm not naive anymore. And I'm really good at taking care of myself. I'm really good at being very on it in terms of listening to myself and listening to my body, and also being able to be clear and communicate and have boundaries. And so I just very kindly said to him, it just doesn't sit right for me to give you advice on doing that. He totally got it. He was like, actually, I really get that. Thank you. And for me, I'm so in the right place in myself for so many reasons to express myself in this way. And it feels fun. And I'm meeting so many great people and the places. It's such a movement. I feel so at home.
Already, that's amazing. Like 35 days in, that's incredible. So you've been to Sunfolk, I understand?
Yeah, I went to Sunfolk. That was really lovely. Yeah, really sweet. There wasn't many people there at the time, so it was really small group, and loved it. Loved running around. I mean, when I first arrived, got a tour, and then when I was ready to take my clothes off, I took my clothes off, put like 2 feet onto the lawn, and then started running around like an aeroplane. Just like going, wee. And it was like, oh my God, I'm like so free. And then just felt this innocence of just being naked and getting to run around. And it was so fun. And even the friend I was with, I was running circles, like flying airplane circles around him. And I was like, come on. And he's like, and I could see his like processing of that, because it was already actually quite a big edge for him to be there. And but then he started running around, and we were just running around like airplanes. And it was beautiful. It was so like immediately in my body so much more.
Did your friend experience the same liberation having removed his clothes?
Yes, I think so. It's definitely, I mean, he'd been to beaches and done a little bit here and there, like nude beaches and stuff, but he's very body conscious. But then like hanging out in the cafe, talking to the people that were there, and we were having such lovely open discussions. And that's a massive bonus of what Naturism does, is the open conversations about being and the authenticity that people bring. Because like, how could you not? Like, really, you're unmasked, you're unclothed, you're vulnerable,
Literally.
Yeah, so that vulnerability, that emotional vulnerability. And there's an analogy that I love, although I never quite get it right when I'm saying it. And in this context, I've not said it in this context before, so see how it goes. The idea that when, like, if you and I were having a conversation and we are clothed, let's say, and I start to show you more of myself, so I get a bit more honest. Emotionally, I start to show you a bit more of myself. I get a bit more honest. I share a story of challenge or whatever. The analogy is we're two icebergs in the sea. And as I share honestly, the water level comes down and reveals more of me, which ultimately reveals more of you as well, because you're in the sea with me. And so I think somehow by removing clothes, it's like the sea level just disappears.
Absolutely.
Or it does a big amount of it. That's what I'm seeing and recognizing, and have experienced as well a lot.
Yeah, that's what I've said before as well. You mentioned vulnerability, and it is a vulnerability, but it's a shared vulnerability because you're all in the same position. And with that comes this unspoken level of trust, because you're all the same. And I think without all the clothing and the wrappers and that vulnerability and that shared trust allows people to be their authentic selves.
Yeah, I'm really seeing it.
You do notice that the more and more as you experience social nudity and group naturism, and you start seeing the same people at different events, and then friendships form and so forth. And it's very lovely. And you pick up where you left off with that person. There's no awkwardness in between meetings or visits or whatever. It is lovely.
I love that.
Amy, you mentioned a little bit about body freedom and body confidence. What's your relationship been like with your body?
Yeah, beautiful question. So, that could go so deep.
Go deep as you want or not.
That could go so deep. How much time have we got? Well, I feel like I've always been someone very much in my body, especially as a child. Like I was very, like lots of dancing, ballet, always making up dance moves, very playful and expressive. And then I became a teenager, and that definitely got shut down because I started to be really cool. And also became incredibly self-conscious.
Right.
Like when I was a teenager, bless me. I got really bad skin, facial spots. Mm-hmm. I have no idea why. I just had a lot of like really bumpy skin and became very self-conscious. I couldn't even look in the mirror.
Oh dear.
I hated looking in the mirror. This was when I was about 13. And I was always a little bit chubbier as well, a little bit on the chubbier side. And I remember asking my grandma once, do you think I'm chubby? And I wasn't close. I didn't see her very often, maybe twice a year. And she said, yes, you are a little on the chubby side.
Oh dear. Or puppy fat, as I got told.
Right. Yeah. And then also when I was 13, I remember being on holiday and just breaking down with the realization that I'm bigger. I'm actually heavier than I'd like to be. And I really like being healthy and taking care of myself. And even last year, I transitioned into boat life and gained more weight. I was really comfortable in it until I wasn't. Until I was like, actually, this isn't feeling like me. I'm not feeling strong and fit. So I really made an effort to actually just have smaller portions and be a bit more aware. But I think the most important thing, especially over the last decade and a half, is I've been so aware of my mindset and how I talk to myself and being kind in my mind. So whatever our bodies look like, if you're physically unhealthy or physically incredibly healthy, if we're not kind in our mind, it's, from my perspective, that's the biggest thing. And, people can be incredibly fit and healthy and working out, and they're just absolutely horrible to themselves internally, and they're never doing enough and they're never good enough. So for me, always being aware of how I talk to myself is everything. So even when last year I realized I'm heavier than I'd like to be, I do not talk to myself in a horrible way. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm ready to be more fit. I'm ready to go running. I'm ready to have smaller portions, just be more aware of that because that feels important for me. But it actually hasn't related to me being whether I show up naked or not. I've been in sauna spaces and various other spaces. And if the nudity is welcome, then sometimes I might take a deep breath and go, oh, shall I? And it's like, well, yeah, everyone else is. And so, always talk to myself with kindness. And I understand the mechanism of language and the impact that our words have in creating feeling and therefore our action. So, yeah, that's been something that I've learned definitely over time.
Is it a difficult thing to learn? I mean, you talk to yourself with kindness. To me, it sounds like a lovely thing to do, but we're our own worst enemy, aren't we, at best? I am. Even though, I try and sort of big up other people, but being kind to myself is way down the list. So how do you learn to do that?
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I'm curious, would you mind sharing an example of something that you say to yourself that doesn't feel kind?
When did I get so old?
Oh.
I look in the mirror and think, where did all these chins come from?
So when did I get so old? It's about reframing though, isn't it? So when I hear somebody think, oh, I'm old, then
I don't feel old. I look it.
I mean, I would argue that you definitely do not look old in the slightest. And that's a collection of words that you have just said. You've put a load of words together. It's made a sentence. And then that sentence has created a feeling that feels heavy and, unpleasant, let's say. So it's about perspective, right? So when people talk about being old, I've looked at videos and other women who are celebrating being old. like say it's a privilege, it's a magical, it's amazing. And so for me, I also have been training my mind in a sense that when I look at in my mind, what does a 80, 90-year-old look like? She is swinging about on like a gymnasium and she's doing cartwheels and she's dancing. She's wearing really bright colors if she's wearing clothes. If she's not, she's wearing flower garlands as she's running around, as she's skipping. And she's just in her element. She's talking to everybody and she's learning new skills. And that's the person that I choose to see in my mind's eye. And that therefore is then the person that I'm going to become. And I really fundamentally believe that. And also it's recognizing language. I mean, this is my work. I'm a mindset coach. I work with people's story. I also help people unpack where is that conditioning coming from. So what you're describing as well with, oh, I'm getting old. How old did I get this? That essentially is a symptom or a statement that comes from I'm not good enough. And 95% of people experience the fear of not being enough. And that's because we've inherited it, because it is perpetuated in society. Our school system is absolutely full of it. And it's got a name. It's called atelophobia, ATELO phobia. And it's the fear of not being good enough. And the symptoms of that are also imposter syndrome, perfectionism, procrastination, fear of failure. And so I really deeply understand the mechanism of what constructs our stories and beliefs. And I choose to make my beliefs through, quite a while of being into this stuff. I'm consciously choosing and consciously catching it. So one of the biggest things that helped me start to catch it, because that's the first step, right, is the awareness, was picking up on the negations of my language, right? So negations are words like don't, can't, haven't, didn't, not, etc., etc. So if I was to say, I don't want to be alone anymore, what is the image that you see of me when I say I don't want to be alone anymore? What's the kind of picture that creates? Can you describe that, Helen?
That you feel a little bit lonely, a bit isolated?
Yeah. If I'm in a room and you can picture me in a room, what is it like? Am I on my own?
Yeah, perhaps you're in a corner.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Can't imagine you being in a corner anywhere.
No. Okay, but that's a great example. So you're seeing me being alone. We'll do another example before I unpack this a bit more. So if I say to you, I can't be late. I just can't be late for work. What do you see when I say that about me?
That sounds very much like me. I can't be late for anything. It's an old fear, but it's still there.
Okay. So when I say those things, we picture those things, right? We picture me being late and stressed, and we picture me being in a dark room, probably very much on my own. Whereas if I catch that don't and I catch that can't, and I ask myself, okay, that's what I don't want. I don't want to be alone. Okay, that's what I don't want. What do I want? And I spent 2 years doing this, but I got it in about a week. And then I was always refining it, catching the negations and then asking, okay, that's what I don't want. What do I want? If I don't want to be alone, I want to have amazing connections. I want to have friends. I want to have friends around me that lift my spirit and I lift their spirit. And I want to run around with people and play improv games, etc., etc., etc. That image, I mean, when I describe that about me, what do you see?
I see that's highly possible. And you're manifesting the kind of life that you want to have.
Right. And the word manifesting, I think, has been also, it can be quite woo-woo. And the truth is, wherever you are looking, that's where you're going to go. That's a fact. If you say to a kid they're riding a bike for the first time and you're worried about them falling into the bush, and you say, don't go into the bush, don't fall into the bush, they're going to fall into the bush because you literally just said, look at the bush, and now
ignore it.
You're looking, wherever you're looking on the bike, that's where you're going to go. So they're going to fall into the bush, very likely. And so in the realm of naturism and people listening to this, how they could utilize it in a naturist space if they're feeling nervous to go, then it's simply asking yourself, how do I want my experience to be?
Yeah.
What do I really want from this experience? And even better, write it down, get those thoughts out and see what you're creating and catching. If you say like, well, I don't want to be sitting in a cafe on my own at any point. Like, I want to make an effort to make a conversation with a new person when I'm sitting having my morning coffee, and then that image has been created. So therefore the reality is so much more likely. And also the feeling that it generates. So the feeling of, I don't want to sit on my own in a cafe feels heavy and anxiety inducing. And then I want to start a conversation with someone, even though I feel a bit nervous about that. I want that, and I'm going to challenge myself to do that because I believe in myself.
Yeah, yeah. And you never know what could happen. It could be a whole turn of your day.
Could change your whole life.
Yeah. You know, paying a stranger a compliment.
Yeah.
Is actually a really nice thing to do. And I try and do that.
Oh, I love that.
Daily if I can. Doesn't always work out.
I love that.
People look at you like you're weird.
Do you know what? Something I do that I'd also like to share, because I think sometimes it's a real edge for people to give a compliment. So what I do is I actually say, I feel the impulse of the authentic compliment to give. And then I say, oh, may I give you a compliment? And this has so many benefits. Number one, they're actually becoming prepared for the compliment, which will mean that they are more able to receive it properly. And number two, they've consented. So that can take away some of the anxiety it might feel to give that compliment. So yeah, may I give you a compliment, Helen?
Go for it.
Okay, I really enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying seeing your lovely smiley face.
Aww.
And I also listened to your recent episode and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it made me even more excited to have this conversation with you today because of how you're showing up in being yourself and real and on your mission. Like, I really get your mission and I love that.
Oh, thank you. It helps having wonderful guests, and I've been very lucky and had some incredible women on here, and you're among them.
Thanks.
And I'm glad to be part of the early, we're going to have to get you back again and again, I think, because your story's just going to evolve.
Yeah, well, just to kindly, lovingly challenge you, that was a really sneaky way of deflecting receiving the compliment.
Busted.
You just got busted, lady.
I thought I got away with that. No,
not with me.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about your boating life? That sounds fun.
Yeah, my boating life is
it new, or have you been doing it a while?
I've had my boat for 1.5 years, and it was my friend's boat. And it's the boat. The boat itself is so amazing and was so destined to be mine.
Is it a narrow boat or what is it?
It's a wide beam. So it's got a really good roof. And so it's amazing. It's 60 by 10 foot wide. I'm pretty certain it's the most colourful boat on the canal. And we do shows on the roof of the boat. I'm really up for doing some naked events on the roof of the boat, and where I can captain and just have people hang out on the roof. They'd need to sign a disclaimer for health and safety. But, I'm going to cover my butt with that. But I think it would be really great. And if not,
that's amazing.
Having I can really see a naked cruise and then mooring up somewhere, maybe more people arrive, and then we have a naked silent disco.
Yes. Yeah,
I'd really like to do that. So if anyone at BN would like to help me curate that, let's do it. It'd be great.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
Really fun.
Also, how about ladies only spaces?
Yes.
As well.
That would be lovely. We could do a wellness retreat day.
Yes.
And it'd be so jolly. So jolly. I can imagine I'm seeing all of us on the roof of the boat in a really naturist space. Like where I'm moored up at the moment, there's not a huge amount of people that go past. But then when they do, just a group of wonderful ladies just like, hello.
Yes, don't mind us.
And the cyclist that goes past. And I have to also add to that, like finding British naturism has really added to my confidence. And particularly when I saw you speaking on the podcast with the ladies, I forgot their name again.
Should I delete that?
Yeah. And you mentioning it's legal and it's about intention. And that really unlocked an extra layer of permission for me, and was particularly influential when I can't remember what day it was in my diary of days of being nude adventurous. But I was wanting to go and take some pictures on the swing bridge, and there hadn't been any boats anywhere near. And then this narrow boat was there as I arrived, and I thought, oh no. And they were sitting on the bow, a couple, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe I'll go somewhere else. And then my gut was like, no, ask them. So I called over to them and I said, I'm doing a naturist photo shoot, which would mean I'm undressed, I'm naked. Is that okay with you? And they just said, yeah, do whatever you want.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was what you'd said. It's like, well, I know my intention here is sweet and lovely, and I want to be in this space. And that was really powerful. And it's true. Like going back to what I was saying before about setting your intention for your experience. Like I often so much will ask myself, okay, I'm going to this new place. What's my intention? What do I want to get out of this? Because it helps me be aware. And that experience showed me so much, and the importance of communicating and getting consent as well. And, I could have just done it. I could have.
Yeah.
But I would have had a background thought of, are they going to be ringing someone and getting me arrested? And I wouldn't have been as free to just be in the moment. And that's what I wanted. And so, yeah, it's lovely.
And you opened up a conversation with a stranger who then's probably gone home that day thinking about it. Oh, a lady asked me if it was okay to do a nude photo shoot, and absolutely it was. I didn't have a problem with it. And they'll probably go home and tell somebody else and initiate other conversations around that. So yeah, all good work.
Yeah.
Amy, it's been absolutely amazing. Appreciate your time and have a wonderful time at NKD.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care, Helen. Thanks so much. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Well, that was fun talking to Amy. What a ball of sunshine she is. So by the time this is out, Amy would have been to NKD. I hope she had a wonderful time. I imagine she will have. I've been told it was very busy, record numbers, record temperature in the weather, record amount of new people attending NKD. So it's really nice to see that the festivals are ever popular with the younger people, which is fantastic. If you've resonated with any of our episodes, please remember to like, share, thumbs up, all that jazz. Your engagement really does matter. And do share it with someone who might find it interesting. As always, thank you again for listening to Women in Focus. I've been your host, Helen Berryman. Please join me next time as we bring more women in focus.